always be the light things on used to.
Hey beautiful, thank you for tapping in today to this timeless video. Today the topic is validating your sense of being as an aspiring entrepreneur. Expansion is necessary. Personal development aids this. I don't think personal development is something that is common, but more and more people within our society are starting to realize the benefits of this. Today, this chapter is validating you and your sense of being in this moment. I will be sharing a part 2 to this video where I'll be talking about how to control your own karma. Because before January 2024, I actually sat down and I learned this. You know what, even saying it's mad, I learned that I can control my own karma. And everybody thinks that it's from God, right? But if you attract your own toxicity, then that opens the perspective of understanding that you can sit down with your thoughts, with your present self, and understand where you need to heal so that you can act better in the present moment, so that you can deflect that karma. Does that make sense? Okay. Now we will move on to the chapter. I have decided that I will be talking to you guys without recording, and you may see me less face to face on my YouTube channel. But this is also an advantage because you can listen to this, you can chill, you can do whatever you wish, but you can have this going on in the background and you can listen and really understand different principles that can aid your personal development in a way that can benefit you. So, it doesn't matter whatever you're doing in the present moment, wherever you are in your life, you are valuable. You are valuable because you were put on this earth not to do anything, but to experience. If that means you experiencing being lazy, being happy, being upset, being one in the moment, that's because just as equally as you follow your destiny or the path that you direct yourself, you're here to experience. You're not here to make ends meet. You're just here to be. That's why you're valuable. The value is in experiencing every moment, whether that be being happy, whether that be chilling with your pets or arguing with your mother. And you know, we don't like that, but to grow, you also need to be present in the present moment, right? Life is worth living because there are so many different possibilities in this life that just because your present moment is the present moment situation, it doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. And I know it's easy to irrationalize over a situation that's occurring, but as long as you understand yourself, you understand and you are self-aware about your emotions inside the present moment, you can do something about it, and that's in your power. Just because a situation makes you feel like you're worthless or you're not worthy of being or there's no point in living, doesn't mean that is. Because you can define that, but you can only define that if you understand that you bring energy into this life, you bring value into this life through just being the person that you are, for your uniqueness, for you being upset, for you being angry, for you being philosophical, for you just being the person that you are and the light that you shine to other people, to the world. That's what makes you worthy. That's what makes you valuable. For just being. We often get into relationships to find we often do things thinking that the outcome of the present moment makes us our value. But if you don't see your value before you step into those situations, they won't define who you are. You'll let them unconsciously define who you are. And the more that I come to understand myself, there's so many parts of me, parts that need to be healed, parts that are I'm delving into my creativity, and it's striking. I'm learning about myself and my boundaries. When you understand that you will always be the way you are through your coping mechanism until you can't stride in life no more. That's the point when you need to understand that no matter what goes on in any situation, no matter what conditions there are, for you just being is a whole blessing in itself, like the biggest blessing in the whole entire universe. You know, that's like past all the Milky Ways and all the other galaxies and like every other realm in the present moment. Like, I think something that is very powerful is the fact that we look to others to validate our emotions, our reactions. Part of becoming an adult that is emotionally understanding and aware of themselves is that you validate yourself, you understand, you're aware of yourself, so that you can pick up yourself more easier than other people who you seek validation for. Because in this entire world, in this entire space, in this present moment, it doesn't matter who you look at, everyone has their own trauma. And if you go to other people to validate something that you should be able to do for yourself, then you're always looking to be the next, oh look, I did it. And people with their own trauma will only accommodate you when they're on the right side of life. So you might as well be there for yourself in every instance, so that you can grow and you can understand the situation better through personal development, through journaling. That's what I mean. But by validating yourself, you're validating your own achievements. And once you validate the small achievements, that leads to bigger and bigger and bigger. That sense of self-awareness will take you further because you're aware of your own needs, you're aware of your own weaknesses naturally, because you are one with your mind at all times. So when you validate your small achievements and you're proud of them, you validate that sense of being, and that's very important. Your sense of being is not defined by your attachments. Right, the following is so powerful. I used to think of a breakup as like my heart's being crushed, and now I feel like, because I understand that an attachment is toxic. Having attachments to people is so toxic only because you're the only person that's moving through from present moment to present moment. You're taking yourself, the main character, from the next episode to the next season to the next sequel. And when you see attachments as like someone else is a part of you, you lose that piece of your sense of self. That then devalues your sense of being. That's very bad, because when you get to that low point where you crash, I'm sorry that there's a very realistic reality, because we all go through it. When you feel at your lowest, there's either the person who's instigating that situation, or it's a mix of different events that have made you feel the way you do, to the point where you feel negative, like you're not worthy of living and you're not worthy of being present in the moment because of the situation that has occurred, the outcome of your emotions, which isn't so. But when you have attachments to people, and not attachments to your own goals, your attachments to you and how you handle yourself, when you use that idea of attachments in a negative way by clinging to people and things, you'll never truly move on to the next version of being. And you need to invest in yourself to understand your worth at that deep extent. So if you invest in other people and you don't give that shit back to yourself, you're lowering your value without even realizing, because you don't give that equal time to yourself. And people always move on. You're always going through the present moment. You're going to find new people everywhere you go. You're going to find new situations. If you're not one with you can't handle yourself as an adult emotionally. It causes more trauma on other people because you don't understand yourself and how to react compared to how to not react. And we grow, we evolve, and individuals become parents or grandmas or aunties. And I didn't say it in that correct order, but you get it. So understanding yourself so that you can inspire others, the other generation, in a way that can benefit them, can only help them to elevate just as much as you and the people around you, by understanding that you are worthy of just being in the moment, regardless of what goes on in the situation or in the whole entire world. You're telling yourself on an unconscious level that it doesn't matter the current conditions in your reality, that doesn't define the value that you bring and the happiness you bring to yourself. That happiness, protecting that happiness is one thing, but expanding that happiness so that you understand that you're even more worthy, and the depth of that worth is very profound. It's only something that you can do and not anybody else. And that's not me coming from a harsh perspective, but in the society that we live in, it is all man for themselves. So you either develop yourself so that you can take yourself out of situations and you understand where your value lies. And I think, like, yeah, my ex definitely, he definitely inspired this conversation. Very important that you understand your worth. It's very important that you understand the depth of it so that you can take yourself out of situations positively, for better, with less stress, because you can rationalize that present moment and that situation for what it is, you know. Tell me in the comments what your favorite hobby is and if you've achieved it. I think that having a hobby is great, but having a hobby that you've shown discipline through, regardless of the time that's taken, regardless of your own goals and time limits that you've set yourself, is a bigger accomplishment than it sounds, only because those hobbies is what makes you understand that worthiness that you have in this life. And completing it shows that you are dedicated to yourself, you are disciplined to yourself, you do see your goals through, and you do finish projects. You have to also understand that your mental health and like where you are in terms of your sanity also has an effect on that too. I'll go a bit further into detail about journaling later, but journaling is something that I've used that is very powerful, because I feel like through reflection you can take more than just a lesson, but how you act and why you react in the way that you do. A reflection also helps you to be grateful for the things that you have in this present moment, and that only attracts bigger blessings. So that's like the hack in this reality. Gratitude journals. That sense of being is very important to develop, and that's the reason why it's also very important to take time away from love, to just not be single, to be like, oh shit, I'm single, but I'm single to work on myself and develop my identity in society and develop my understanding of myself so that I can understand myself more easily when I'm in a relationship. And that opens up the opportunity to understanding what my needs are, my boundaries, and how do I show up for myself when my partner's going through something? How do I show up for him or her? You know what I mean? Understanding yourself is the pinnacle for the entire future generation of you. And that sense of being starts from just being alive, because it doesn't matter what conditions you're going through, what you have to do in this life. You give something to the world which makes it unique, and that's something that if you take away, you take that away as well, and that affects the big picture of what you could have left behind compared to this present moment affecting you for the rest of the existence of this earth. I think that's pretty mad. Something that's very profound is that once you understand the value of yourself, that is motivation. That can be used for motivation to actually get what you desire, because there are moments in life where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to do anything, like at your lowest, but it's those things that you do that keep you going, those hobbies that you do, those hours of happiness that feed your inner child. Emotion is energy in motion, and that energy will always circulate as long as you're still breathing. But you can only experience the good times through understanding the bad. And those good moments and bad moments and good feelings and bad feelings are part of you. They are something for you to understand, not diminish. They are one for you. They are both elements for you to understand within yourself and be aware of, so that you can handle yourself under moments of stress and pressure. They're not there for you to understand that you aren't worthy of living, and no other circumstance is worthy of making you feel like you're not worthy of just being alive, because you're worthy. There's so much more that you can ever see until you live in that present moment and you survive and you keep moving forward, because you understand that at the end of the tunnel is the biggest, most brightest light ever, and you can only get to that when you work through it. Don't give up on yourself. Be one with your thoughts and understand the situation for what it is, but don't let that dictate your situation, your emotions as an outcome, and how you choose to act on that, because the present moment is always changing, but you will always be valuable in this world, no matter the circumstance. Your value is your value, with no conditions attached, no necessity to make money, no necessity to go to sleep, being to just be for yourself, to experience. It doesn't matter whether you make the most money in the world if you don't understand yourself. Your value is not determined by your current pressures. Your value is determined by your growth and your own journey through life, and the outcome of the achievement of your own personal goals. Journaling aids character development through personal reflection and understanding, increasing your sense of self-awareness for your reactions, for yourself as a being who is also not to your own standards of being. Let's say you feel like you've taken from what you've written down as you've been immature in a moment of stress. You can research how to get better, what to understand in that present moment. Investing your spare time in a hobby enables you to understand your creativity and delve deeper into that, which is another way to understand your sense of being and the value that you hold to yourself through that creativity or whatever it may be, because you're taking time for yourself to do something you like or you want to do. That's in turn getting to know yourself. Doing some sort of exercise, even if it's an hour per week or an hour per day, can aid your body in the rejuvenation of cells, and that helps also in terms of your mental health. That's the aspect of preserving your temple, that being your body. Getting the correct amount of sleep for your age is also very important, because that sleep contributes to your cells actually remaking new cells, and that sleep aids the efficiency of your body. That's why when you're drained, you feel like you want to sleep more, right? Yeah. Drinking 2 to 3 liters of water per day also impacts in your efficiency, and eating foods that are nutritious in sun energy can also rejuvenate yourself, like defo vegetables and fruits. It's very important for you to understand what you're consuming and the things that you're doing to aid your sense of self, and that also very much impacts your sense of being and your sense of value. Because when you operate with things that influence you to stay positive, you're more likely to stay positive. You're more likely to see the blessings in things naturally, compared to eating junk food, being dehydrated, getting the minimum amount of sleep, or having insomnia, not exercising. Like, these things can impact and implicate how you feel, because you're not treating yourself as if your body is a temple. Journaling really helps to rationalize your thoughts, rationalize situations, and under stress, it's natural for a person to become more irrational. And with that being said, trauma also has an impact. So if you take the time to understand your thoughts, that can also really impact your sense of being, because you understand what is not true, what is true, how to move forward in the way that suits you best. You are worthy of being the person that you are, and living with the current pressures that you have, and still remaining your value regardless of the stress or the situation that is at hand or present. Neglecting your hobbies and the things that you do for personal development until something bad happens is only having a disastrous effect on the outcome of the person that you are. And if you want to move to the next version of yourself, you have to go through that work of understanding yourself so that you can understand how to not be stressful internally in your inner dialogue in a stressful situation. Because we always go through stress, but if you let that stress affect your inner dialogue, that will affect your mind physically, and that will implicate health conditions which may become chronic, and that's basically damaging your genetics, because your next generation will then go through that, like, and they don't deserve that. Or you don't deserve that either, but you get it. You may end up shortening your lifespan when you don't handle stress in an emotional way that's actually healthy for you. The understanding of this, maybe the conclusion of this would be, you may not understand what your value is, but you have to develop in understanding that, so that in the worst situation, you understand that you're worthy of being in any moment. And that the moment shouldn't stop you from believing in the person that you're capable of being and your own value, because situations come and go. They move from future to present to past. And it's about how you handle yourself, knowing that you have value no matter what happens. And that shouldn't dictate whether you're worth of being in this life or not, because you are, period. Once you understand the true value of your sense of self, you start to go around situations differently in a way that benefits you. And that's powerful. Your sense of being and your sense of value will also expand when you understand that you're worthy of more than just a 9 to 5. That's also your motivation to succeed, but we'll go into that in my future videos. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. If you listen to this and you like this, share it to somebody that needs to hear it, because we all need to hear this. As humans, we're always going through bad moments, but this precisely, I think I said it to the T, and I'm very happy. So yeah, comment your favorite song down below currently, and I'll listen to it and see if it's my vibe. Bye.